Well, Dick Durbin and I have been very active on this. Look, I would argue that energy is one of our three greatest challenges domestically. Getting a handle on our energy policy. The other two being our healthcare system that is broken and has to be fixed, and our education system that is not doing enough to prepare our young people for globalization. We don't have a good energy policy. We don't have much of an energy policy. As a consequence, we send $800 million a day to some of the most hostile nations on Earth. And in the process, because of our over-reliance on fossil fuels, we're melting the polar ice caps and creating a situation that can endanger the planet. One of the most promising approaches, because the technology is there, is around the production of biodiesel, alternative fuels, ethanol. And it just so happens that Illinois, as the second largest corn grower, and Iowa next door, are big advocates of it. So ourselves, Senator Harkin, others have been consistently introducing bills that have boosted the goals of ethanol production in successive years, and that will, I am certain, be reflected in the agricultural, in the ag bill that's going to be coming up. Now, one of the things that we've got to do is to continue to develop the distribution systems for these alternative fuels. So, for example, in Chicago, I drive a flexible fuel vehicle, which can take E85 gasoline. That's an 85% ethanol, 15% gasoline blend. It can also run on regular fuel, or on gasoline. The problem is that there are only a handful of pumps across the state that actually dispense E85. So one of the things we've done is to provide tax incentives for gas stations to install pumps that will dispense these alternative fuels. So there's an infrastructure, distribution infrastructure, that has to be set up. It's not that difficult because all these alternative fuels pump just like gasoline, but they have to be installed. Brazil is 80% of its new vehicles on the road are flexible fuel vehicles, and they've moved much more dramatically than we have, and have achieved roughly energy independence using sugarcane to develop their fuels. It's good for the environment, it's good for our economy, it's good for farmers. One last point I'll make, corn-based ethanol has gotten significantly more efficient than it used to be, but there's enormous potential around other sources like cellulosic ethanol. And one of the things that our bill calls for is further investment in research in using other biomass that may be even more efficient than corn, and then we've got to work with farmers to figure out how do we make switchgrass pay the farmers and not just the producers. Think anything you want to add? Okay, guys, I think that we are done with the question phase, and now what we're going to be doing is going to the photo phase. So you're going to get instructions for these wonderful young people here. Those of you who want to stay for a photo. Since we've got a bunch of big groups, I suspect that they're going to ask some of the big groups to sit in their chairs and wait